Okay. This is now the beginning of the meeting. What a shambles. So there's only what's happening, and what's happening isn't happening. I think we'll leave it there today. That's it. So what is there? Well, there's what's happening, and what's happening isn't really happening. Yeah.
So can I ask you something?
Hi, Elsa.
Hiya. I was just thinking about this today, actually. If you know intellectually,
yeah,
you understand intellectually what you're saying to us.
You won't do that, but yeah, you could try.
Yeah, but if I tried and sort of, at least if I understand that nothing's real and I have no control,
right,
and all the rest of it, does it really matter if I'm enlightened?
No. Oh, hello. There's no enlightenment, Elsa. Because you'd need somebody for that, wouldn't you?
Well, whatever you call it, I can't think of a word.
You could say maybe there's freedom from me, but I wouldn't call that enlightenment though, because that sounds like you then are.
No, I shouldn't have used that word.
Yeah. So if I use a word, I use the word liberation.
Yeah, yeah.
But then that's equally misleading. There is no one to be liberated, so that can be misleading as well.
I can hear you, Mum.
Pam's on the phone now. Sorry. Pam, you can't answer the phone during a meeting.
I've stopped it.
Well done. Good work. No, but it's interesting you say about intellectual understanding, Elsa, because what can become very obvious is that all your learning, everything you've learned about non-duality, or any other philosophy for that matter, and all so there's two aspects really. It can become really obvious that knowledge is worthless, but there can still be then there's understanding, and understanding can seem to be, oh yeah, that's on a different level. That could still be relevant, and that could be, if I understood it, then I could get it, you know, then if I understand it, I've got it, I'll have it. Well, well, I mean, I'm going to stick with just what I'm saying today. It seems like, which is only what's happening, and what's happening isn't happening. Well, if you tell me you've got an intellectual understanding of that, then I'll.
No, I didn't mean that.
I don't mean you. I just meant anyone.
Oh, right.
Because that's completely contradictory. It's completely paradoxical. That won't be understood. And this isn't about. You could say there are two ways of looking at non-duality. One is as an intellectual pursuit of trying to understand it, and the other one is, well, it is just as it is. And it can be obvious that it's not understandable, it's not comprehensible, it's not knowable, and that in the story, that can seem to lead to a giving up, not a conscious active giving up, but like, well, everything becomes pointless. But what's the point? What's the point of me trying to understand something that isn't understandable?
That's what I meant.
And that could be If there was any hope, which there's not, then that could be your only hope. Because all we're talking about, we're not talking about the absence of me, the absence of self. We're talking about the absence of the self trying to get this and trying to find out what it's missing. If that stops, me, you could say me stops. Because the seeking, the looking for fulfillment, the looking to fix myself, to find what's missing, to complete the puzzle, all of those things that you have on a journey or on a seeking journey, if they stop, then me stops. Because I am the seeking. I am the desire to find my fulfillment. And there's nothing to fill. There was never anyone who was faulty. There was never anyone in need of fulfillment. And that's the message, really. And it's not a message of hope. Hence, it's not popular. But there is immense freedom in not knowing. The need to know is most suffering. You know, I need to know in order to keep myself safe, because what knowledge says, what understanding says to me is that if I know, then I can keep myself safe. Then I'll be able to, and not only keep myself safe, I can become whole. I can become complete. And all this message has to say is that is really very, very unnecessary. This is already complete. This is completely whole. And the reason it's completely whole is very simple. It's beyond simple. It's simply that there isn't anything else. There is no possibility of this becoming more complete in a future. That would require a future, and there is no future. And to self, that feels like death. You say to most selves, there is no future. That's horrific, because that's the end of their dreams. They will never be fulfilled. Well, no, of course they won't. But the beauty of the message is there is no need for fulfillment. This is already fulfilled. It's filled, isn't it? It might not be filled with what you want. That's the thing. I want this to be filled with what I want. But it's just filled. Emptiness filled with everything. You never had a say over what this was filled with. And you always just want this to be other than it is. And of course it can't be. It is that simple. This can't be other than it is. Can it? Because it already is. As it is. I mean, how I speak about this every week, I don't know. Saying the same old, the same things over and over again. But I don't know. It is incredible that the absence of hope isn't hopeless. I can't emphasize that enough. That we are talking about the complete absence of hope, because there's no future. And there's no hope for anyone, because there is no one to achieve their hopes and dreams, only in a fantasy, only in imagination. But that's what's longed for. Now, it doesn't sound as though that's what's longed for at all. And it's not what me longs for, because I long for my completion. I long to feel good enough, to feel whole, and not feel the longing anymore. Well, that's what we're speaking about. We're speaking about that longing no longer appearing, because how can there be longing for this? This is already. There is no more longing. Don't get me wrong, there's sadness. Sadness appears just as, in fact, you could say sadness is more intense, but that's just as it is. Life is inherently happy and sad for human beings. This isn't about life being a certain way. That's why you can call it liberation. It wouldn't be freedom or liberation if it had to be a certain way, would it? Where would the freedom be in that?
Tim.
Hi, Hans.
Yeah. It's very touchy, it's really touchy. I remember last Friday or last talk, I was so exciting about it. It was a ride, and now it's not a ride. It's just so cooling down. And you said a little thing in between. You just, hey, Hans, there's nothing happening. And now it's the same. Now it's just as I say it to myself, hey, Hans, there's nothing happening. But still, it's so fucking touchy. Yeah? I really, wow, it's still the same wow. I don't know how to say it, but this I have to say. It is not really a personal thing. It's just
no, it's not at all
energetic happening, but in the other hand, there's nothing really happening.
Thanks, Hans.
Yeah. Oh my God.
No, it's not personal, no. Not at all.
It's really, I don't find a word for it.
No, nor me. And I've been trying really hard, Hans, with the words, haven't I?
No, I don't feel that you try hard.
No, I don't actually. No, that was. But what I mean is, there's a lot of words come out, but
yeah, they're not the words, and it's so much more. I don't know, but I have to share it. That's all.
Thanks. No, it's lovely. Well, the thing is, you could say it's so much more and so much less, because what we're talking about is empty. And of course, you can't get less than empty. But it's an empty that's full of everything. So what can you say? Of course, you will be lost for words. I'm guessing most of you have been lost for words. You've had moments of where you've been lost for words. That's what we're talking about. That will be the absence of me. when me wasn't trying to interpret what's happening. There's just what's happening, and you can't express that. That's what we're talking about. That's just ordinary life as it is it's inexplicable, it's inexpressible. You can't get a handle on it. So these meetings are just a chance to share that what we're speaking about is incredibly ordinary. It's because it's all there is. It's just ordinary life. It's just an ordinary life that maybe is stopped. The questioner has stopped asking the questions. You know, doesn't need any questions. This is unquestionably as it is. That's it. And then all the questions are about, well, how is it? How did it become? Why is it? All those questions. Well, they're there, you know, you can speak about those, but they're of no significance at all. This is just as it is, always.
Hi, Tim.
Hi, Anne.
Hiya. You all right?
Yeah, great, thanks. Yeah, good.
I missed how your hot cream teas went, but I gather you had a good time. I saw the pictures.
Oh, yeah, it
They
was,
were lovely of you and
yeah,
Kelly.
it was glorious. We had a lovely time, yeah.
Yeah, it looked wonderful. Yeah, it just came to me today. I don't know why. Just pondering about the real and unreal.
Mm-hmm.
And I sort of realised that I used to think, listening to speakers, that it would become completely unreal
Oh, yeah.
and therefore void of
Yeah.
suffering and pain. And, you
Yeah.
know, that I thought it would be sort of that sort of magical, that, you know, the illness, but, you know, that it's no more real than it is unreal.
No.
And vice versa, like it's really real and it's really unreal.
It is.
And that for me was almost the disappointment.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it will be if you were looking to escape the realities of life, you know, what we'd call the harsh realities.
Yeah, I was. Yeah.
You know, and who wasn't? Who hasn't come to spirituality to escape the harsh realities of life?
Yeah.
Well, if ever, you could almost say that's a description of spirituality, isn't it? I don't like the dirty, nasty bits of life. I'd like to escape into, you know, pure awareness and pure bliss and pure consciousness. Those messages are massively attractive to me. It sounds great. And this message is quite the contrary, isn't it? And
lots of people talk about the love and the freedom. I do as well. If ever I'm inspired to put anything on Facebook, it's usually very positive, but they don't talk about the pain. You know, like last week, I suffer from fibromyalgia, and I had a bad week with it. And yeah, it's very real, that pain.
Yeah, of course.
In fact, it's more real,
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah.
I think the difference, and then I was trying to work out what's the difference now, and the only thing I could think is that before there was only real, completely 100% real, whereas now it is real, unreal.
Yeah.
It's just totally weird. Still can't.
Yeah, you don't know what's real, do you? That's how it is.
Yeah.
You know, so real or unreal they lose their reality. The difference, the reality between real and unreal, that me would always say, well, I'm pretty sure I know what's real and I know what's unreal. Well, then this leaves you not knowing that difference.
But the mind can still say, but but look, it's real.
Oh,
It's real.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah. Well, the thing is, Anne, of course it can say that because that's true.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
It is
exactly.
real.
Yeah.
And it's unreal.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. The mind said, but look, it's real. And then it can go,
Absolutely.
unreal.
Because
as well.
I have a lot of people ask me, well, are you saying that life is real or not? And I'm going, oh, yeah, it's absolutely real. But it's absolutely unreal as well.
Yeah, I've heard you say that. I really like that.
Well, the thing is, and so that, I don't say it to everyone, especially if they've not been drinking, because you're going to get a slap for that. Because that's not an answer that me would ever want to hear, because it leaves you nowhere to go. And really, that's what we're talking about. This leaves you nowhere to go. There's nowhere else. So you stop looking to go somewhere else. So you stop looking back. Okay, I'm in this situation because I did that. I could have done that. So you stop looking there in the past for answers, and you stop looking in the future for answers. Oh, if I do this, then this method, then if I lost some weight, if I got fit, if I meditated, if I calmed my thoughts, if I became, endless stories that me can tell about how my life could be improved. The piece is in, there is no self to have a self-improvement program. That's the piece that passes all understanding. There's no self to improve. You're completely let off, aren't you? We all know how terrible self-improvement is. There aren't any of you out there who haven't been on a very long, arduous self-improvement program. Some of you for 30 or 40 or 50 years. Same for me. Because, that's where I would find happiness. I would find peace. I would find all the things, whatever I said I was looking for. Of course, none of it brought it. So you've ended up listening to non-duality speakers. But even if it becomes clear that self-improvement doesn't work, working on yourself doesn't work, I mean, that's not exactly what we're speaking about, but that's worth having. I mean, it can be dreadfully disappointing and demotivating probably, because, each time you got on a new self-improvement program, me kicked in with full motivation, until it, well, at least for a week, maybe 2, till it didn't work. So that's why this message is loving, even though it may not sound loving. It's saying every human being is perfect as they are. They're just not who they think they are, or feel they are, or believe themselves to be. Well, that's beautiful. And it does feel like love. It feels a lot like love. Not a love that we normally talk about, that most of society would relate to as love. A love that is unconditional, that everyone, as human beings, is exactly as they are. How would they be otherwise? And so, of course, that is a love that is not really normally spoken of. What we talk about as love normally is completely conditional, has endless conditions put upon that love. And that so-called love is in the story of most selves, that's the cause of most suffering, more than any other, I would say. Especially the love for yourself. You know, I can't love myself because I have all these faults. I have all this shadow side that I need to work on. And, you know, I have these dark thoughts. So the liberation that we're speaking about is liberation for all of that, all of those parts of you that you've felt that you need to hide from other people, hide from yourself, keep hidden away. So the liberation for the character does feel like love, without any effort, an effortless love. It doesn't require any loving. It's that unconditional. Because what is life actually requiring of you right now? It's not requiring anything at all. It's not asking anything of you. Nothing. So yeah, I've been wary about speaking about love too much, because it makes, you know, because love is a dangerous word. It's such a loaded word. There's only probably God that is more loaded than as a word than love. So I try not to use either, because I think they're always misheard. Has anyone got a question that they'd like to ask?
Hey Tim, it's Sky here.
Hi, Sky.
Hey, I have a question that comes up continually, and it seems like from the perspective of the human being, that we're at the end of this great cosmic whip, and the hand that moves the whip, we have no way to be in contact with, but we are at the effect of the whip, which from the perspective of the person seems to leave us, or more particularly me, in a victim perspective.
Who's holding the whip, Sky? God?
It's a great cosmic whip. That's what I could say. Yeah. It's like there's a movement of life, and we're at the result of it. Does that make sense?
Well, it makes sense as a story, yeah. So you're using the analogy of the whip as
there's the hand that moves the whip, and then there's the end of the whip, which is the human.
Okay. Yeah. Well, it's a story that's well, that's a story that a lot of others would agree with, I'm sure.
Yeah, but it also seems to coincide with this message.
I don't see that, Sky.
Oh.
Because of course, it seems very obvious that there is no whip, and there is no hand. There is neither a whip, nor is there an end of the whip, nor a handle to the whip, nor anyone to hold the whip and to whip the whip.
There just is.
No whipper, no whips, no whippy, no whip, whipless.
Yeah, not in terms of a whip, in terms of punishment, but a movement of energy.
Yeah, but it's still, well, the implication of the whole whip analogy is it requires someone, you know, at the end of the whip who's creating, and we're at the other end of it, and they've made, you know, we've been made and created, and they're holding all the cards, and we're just dancing to the whip. It makes me it sounds like a bit like a Sergio Leone. I can hear the Ennio Morricone music in the background as Clint Eastwood in The Good, the Bad and the Ugly. He's got a whip. It's the wrong movie, actually. Darren will set me right, but he did have a whip. He carried a whip in one of them. So I'm saying that there isn't a God who looks like Clint Eastwood in The Man with No, which is good analogy, because of course Clint is often the man with no name, and he's not holding a whip, and we're not being whipped, and we're not. There is no. One of the great freedoms is from cause and effect, and that's why I wouldn't agree with your analogy. Is similar to this message. There is no cause and effect. There isn't anything that's creating this other than the stories that we are telling about, oh, that happened and that's what's created this. Nothing creates this. And this, neither does this. This doesn't create what's to come. So what's been hasn't created this. What's to come will not create what will be. There is no what has been. There is no what will be. There is only what is. And even not that.
Jeez, that brings a tremendous amount of clarity, because I think at the core of myself, anyways, cause and effect still holds as an uncovered belief.
Yeah. Oh, that's very powerful. The sense of self very much relies on cause and effect being absolutely real. Otherwise, of course, I lose all my autonomy. If cause and effect even lose their absolute reality, if they become slightly unreal, me can panic and feel very unsafe, because I'm not. How will I control my destiny, my future? How will I control the present and the future if there is no cause and effect? So that can be very disconcerting, but that is the great freedom we're talking about, freedom from cause and effect.
And that's one of the core beliefs, right above the fact that we're sinners, or the belief that we're sinners.
Well, of course, if goodness and sin become completely obsolete without cause and effect, don't they?
Relevant, yeah.
They're dead.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you. Yeah. So cause and effect and responsibility are one and the same. And then, of course, along that is then guilt and blame are all completely dependent on cause and effect, and responsibility being absolutes. I've got my brother and my mum here now, and they're having a little conversation, whispering, but you can hear them. I know you can, because they're not really whispering. If I can hear them, you can.
Hey, Tony.
Tone, do you want to come in?
Is it Darren?
Yeah, come and have a look.
Hi, Darren. Hi, Tony.
Hi, Mary.
Somebody
How you
said
doing?
somebody said the other day
Hi, Darren.
that me and Tone should
Hi,
start
everybody.
doing double act.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Tony. How are you?
Hi, James. Hi, everybody that knows me and the others that don't. So, I'm the man with no name, as Tim said. And
No, you're not Clint Eastwood.
no, I'm Lee Van Cleef, who is trying to think. The man with the whip is Lee Van Cleef.
Lee Van Cleef.
Hello, Dave. Yeah, hello, everybody. Yeah, I haven't been here for a while. So, nor was Tim, to be honest. He was away last week.
I'm never here, Tone. You know that.
He's not even here when he's here, so he's never here. He's not even here, so yeah. Anyway, enough of that frivolity and joking and laughing. Back to serious stuff. You know.
There is. What do you want? What do you want to say about it? All right.
Yeah.
Tone's going to now give you some serious stuff.
Right.
Pay attention.
Right. some serious notes on, you know, Zen and stuff.
Zen?
Yeah, I just want
Don't
Zen.
mention
I just go
Buddhism.
Zen Buddhism. I don't
Oh,
know.
for God's sake.
Yeah, but that's where we all start, don't we? You know, along that road.
No, you started. Tone started with no, it was
What was it?
it was Advaita. It was Hindu. It was
What's it?
what was it called?
I can't remember.
Upanishads.
Upanishads, yeah.
Tone,
Upanishads, yeah.
believe so. He's probably to blame for all of this. When Tone was
somehow.
about 17, he came over
Yeah.
and somebody had stopped him in the street in
Yeah,
Peterborough
true.
and sold him.
Mm.
He was very gullible and he got sold a copy of the Upanishads in the street.
I bet I'm not the only one that's had that either.
No.
And of course, George Harrison and his spiritual journey, and
Yeah, you love
Hare
George.
Krishna Krish is. I mean, we're all about Krishna Krish, aren't we? It's so good. It's a
Well,
wonderful pop song.
you only like that song.
Yeah, true. And I do like My Sweet Lord.
Oh, My Sweet Lord, yeah. That is the same song.
True. That is the same song.
That is the same
Anyway,
song.
yeah.
It's the same song.
That is
Yeah,
the
and
same-
that one as well.
Yeah, of course, that is Krishna.
But who
Krish,
doesn't
isn't
love a
it?
bit of My Sweet Lord? Yeah.
How good is that? It's
Yeah.
such a powerful tune, a timeless classic. As we decide.
Right, that's enough. Now you can go.
Right. Bye bye, everybody.
See you, Tony.
Oh dear. Right, you can be quiet though.
Yes.
Oh God. It's getting a little bit out of hand. If anyone knows of a venue that I could use with good Wi-Fi close to the village of Maney in the Fens in Cambridgeshire, then please let me know. Or I'm going to beg off a friend. Yeah.
Hey, Tim.
Hmm.
I was thinking about how when I used to listen to NonDuality a lot, people would talk about unknowing a lot.
Right.
But it feels more like an intuitive, sort of obvious sort of knowing. I mean, it can't be known, but it feels more like a knowing than an unknowing.
It's very the knowing, not knowing, knowing, unknowing thing is very Alice in Wonderland. I always think, you know, you can fall down that hole and not stop falling and go, is this knowing or is this unknowing? Do I know that? So one thing I would really emphasize is that there's no knowing unknowing. And that's what I was waiting for. I'm suggesting that's what Darren's waiting for. Darren's waiting because at the moment, Darren's still not sure whether he knows or not. Is this knowing or unknowing? Do I know this? This feels a bit like knowing, but I'm not sure. It might be not knowing. Well, what the fuck, Darren?
Yeah, it's just like that. It's right in the middle of between knowing and not knowing.
So I think I might still be knowing that. And what I need to do is not know it.
Not know.
Yes, because once I not know it, once there's not knowing, unknowing, then I'll know. So, you know, that is a game. There's no end to playing that game. But one thing you will know is that you won't know when you don't know that you don't know. I hope that's clear.
Yeah, it's really clear.
Good. Don't ask me those stupid questions again, Darren.
All right then. Someone in chat says Krista has a question.
Krista,
it says, in liberation, is there seen that there never was a search?
Well, no. It's seen that there is a memory. There's memory of the search. And you can still tell the story of the search, being the seeker, the desperation of wanting to know. And of course, come back to what Darren just said, that's great. And the thing that you want to know, if you've been to many non-duality meetings, you want to know not knowing. There's a fucking dilemma. You try getting out of that one. And of course, the beauty of this is it is going to give a shit. This is all there is. It couldn't give a shit about your knowing or your not knowing. Not a monkey's arse wipe. I don't know what I'm saying. It couldn't give, like, it's so irrelevant. Because you don't actually know when you know. That's the illusion. That's all for me. Me says, I know what I know. You don't. And then it's all not knowing. Even the knowing, Darren, the knowing is not knowing. There is no knowing or not knowing.
Yeah, that's nice. I like that.
Because so I just know as a seeker, Tim was waiting. One of the things he was waiting for a lot of stuff, by the way, none of which has come to fruition. A lot of stuff, and one of the things he was waiting for was to know that he didn't know. I mean, funny. This is all funny. It's tragic, but hilarious. I mean, seeking is tragic. It's a tragic comedy. You're seeking what you're seeking all that already is. You're seeking the only thing that is when it already is. But you insist that it's not. And that's all we're talking about, the absence of the insistence that, oh, there must be more. I'm missing something. I'm missing a trick somewhere. And the not knowing can be I mean, self can make anything into a, into a goal, into a target, but the not knowing thing, yeah. So I could say, Darren, just relax. You already know nothing. The not knowing is inclusive of everything that you think you know. That's the unknowing.
Yeah, I like that. That resonates, Tim.
Oh, I'm pleased. Yeah. I'm not a fan of Jiddu Krishnamurti. I'll own up to that. Wordy, clever bugger. Really wordy, really intellectual. But he did write a book called Freedom from the Known, which I did like. That's a nice book. It's really intellectual and not exactly what we're speaking about, but there is great freedom from, but that sounds, it's like freedom from the known sounds like, oh, I need to not know everything. That's not what it means. The freedom is in all knowledge being irrelevant. Knowledge is relevant for its relative, what it's relatively good for. Knowledge of car mechanics is good for mending a car. Don't ask me to mend a car. I don't have the knowledge. So knowledge is good for that. But for this, for non-duality, or for life in general, you could just see knowledge is seen as, it's just empty, other than its relative use, you know. Knowledge is always relatively useful, some more useful than others. But ultimately, it's all empty. Essentially, all knowledge is empty. And there's a lot of freedom in that. If this becomes very, very, very obvious, you won't be looking to anyone else ever again for knowledge or understanding. I guess that's well, there's great compassion in that. You know, you've always thought others knew more than you, were wiser than you, were, well, in non-duality, more liberated than you, more enlightened than you. Bullshit. Complete bullshit. There is no one who's any more of anything than anyone else. There aren't any ones. No self and no others. It's just absolute equality. It's an equality that, in political terms, you know, it's just beyond imagination. It doesn't require, unlike the equality that politics is. You know, if you're a socialist, then if you've had those socialist ideals, which I had when I was young, and you were thinking that, okay, social equality would make all human beings equal. Well, that pales. Of course, that needs massive changes in society. That needs massive changes in all the systems, in work systems and in everything. Whereas this equality that we're speaking of is an absolute equality. And of course, that's unconditional love. And it's great because you don't have to love everybody for it to be unconditional love. That's not what we're speaking of. You're free to dislike, you know, you can dislike the far right as much as ever you did. It's just obviously can't help being the Nazis that they are. Can't help it. Poor bastards. I've gone all a bit political there. There's a little hint of my former self. Oh dear. Yeah, I used to think that was worth, you know, change the world. That's something worth fighting for. Equality. Well, the very fighting for it creates conflict and division, of course. You know, everyone fighting. That you don't need the word say it all. I'm fighting for peace. Right. Let's see how well that works. It's probably not going to work really well. War on terrorism. Yeah, that's not worked particularly well either. Oh, it's comical how stupid self is, really. I'm going to end violence with extreme violence. That's my answer. Brilliant. It's stupid beyond belief, isn't it? There we go. This isn't a political meeting, by the way. But without the desire to change things, the stupidity of self becomes very, very, it's like screamingly obvious. There we are. I've got 5 minutes. Has anybody got a question that you'd like to ask me? I'm planning to have another meeting on Thursday. I'm expecting everyone to have bought a book by then. Yeah, 32 participants, 30 reviews would be nice. At least 28 of which should be positive. Has anybody got a question before we round up? Dave, how are you doing? You doing all right?
There we go. I'm not very technical. Yeah, I'm good. Good. I've started reading your book. It's excellent.
Yes. Now, you see, that's why I've spoken to Dave personally. He's bought the book. James, how's your copy looking so far?
Haven't received it yet. I'm eagerly awaiting.
Eagerly await. Me too. I'm a bit shocked because I ordered on the first day and I haven't got any. I haven't got one yet. And it's funny because it's self-published on Amazon. You don't get to see it, of course. So I've never seen it.
A bit of free public thing.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, that's crazy because I sent one to Spain and it arrived today.
Right. Don't, because that's pissing me off now, Darren. Because why have I not got one? Oh, well.
Will you sign it for me, Tim, with love?
Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely, Dave. So lovely to see you all, and hope to see you again on Thursday if you can make it. Yeah. So thanks very much for coming. There will be a shorter recording on YouTube. I'll put that up later. But thanks for coming. Lovely to see you all.
Yeah, thanks, Tim.
Take care.
Thanks, Tim.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Yes.
Ciao, ciao.
See you, James.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, Dave.
Bye-bye, Tim.
Going.
Ciao.
Bye.
Kel, you're hiding.
Yes.
Take care.
Bye.
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 Bye.